So more stable than pallets. I hate utilizing people's structures, these platforms. But when they're like aside from the curb, it's almost as if it's whatever. Side note, there was during the BML rides in the summer, like last year, 2 years ago, there was these pallets that were like having all these bricks set up with blankets on it. So they took the blankets off, and on the curb, it's right next to it. So all these bricks there, what are you going to do if your BLM pick them up and use them? So I might want to use this real quick. Huge side note. They run in waves. So in Grafton, we've got these signs that are electronic. This is actually at the main strip where you can read
what's going on,
which wave they're on. They can cross after this.
Right,
you guys are crosswalks. Usually you see this in schools, but now it's real time because they're on the clock.
Wait, boy, turn both.
The bike trail in a bike race. This is the median.
This ain't nothing. I like to try.
Well, not for nothing, but they're entered in a race.
This is an easy race. We're Badger State. We swim.
They got volunteers.
You're good.
See the pennies? They're official. They're pennies. They're official. This is a race. It's happening.
You can go.
Oh, I know that.
All right. Well, look alive, guy. Look alive.
Thank you. Thanks for waiting.
These guys aren't walking out anyone.
Oh, she does.
If I was in your shoes, I'd be doing this a lot different.
We're just doing what we're told.
I don't hold anything against you other than your flags that you don't use. You have pennies and flags. You're not using any of them. They don't have checker flags in their back pocket. I didn't expect them to, but this guy's with his stick. Where's your flag? You got a stick without a flag. Flagstaff guy coming through. Look alive.
Just got done.
You guys are matching. Are you in a club?
Hey, you guys need a little electrolyte?
Are you in a club? What's this shirt's matching about?
We volunteer. We were doing what they're doing on the
We're
other
all
side.
volunteer. We got this point already. They're volunteering. I'm volunteering.
But you didn't
Oh,
get
what are you
t-shirts?
volunteering for?
For organ donation because I support life. Are you an organ donor?
I am an organ.
Well, then we're in the same boat.
We just found it on the table. I said I'm going to grab it.
It's an important ball club. Trucks. We can't line it up, a Red Bull and a Ozaki Transit. Ozaki Transit, I plan on moving outside of a town of Ozaki, which I'm currently in. And there's no transit that travels from county to county. So if I'm an inventor and I'm creating a system that will align, people with proponents, if they're trying to move interestingly enough, their skills across county. We're trying to move a skill across county, making a transit as if I'm an inventor to have one. And just let's couple Red Bull with it, with whatever that might mean. Red Bull was like the first company with the caffeine in a can. And if we're being frank, I just had this pizza and it tasted like blue cheese, which mean it was old. After the first bite, I was going to return it, but the guy who has the shop there, I've never talked to him, but I guess we're kind of cool because he knows my name, and I've seen him for over a decade go from his old shop into this new one. And so I don't want to return this pizza. I just ate the fromage. That's French for cheese, even though it would taste kind of funky. And I don't know if that's going to settle in good with my stomach because I'm pretty sure it was rotted. But despite the fact, it had some vegetables on it. So we're going to see how that, so far so good. That's just a side note with the pizza review. A lot of cheeses, some people say like cut the mold off of it and you can eat the rest. This is the same homage to that. No, but in all seriousness, it's when with taxes and then voting. And I can't speak on this because I'm conservative. But in all reality, if you're getting short-sighted or censored, a censor that's altered, can we have that as the title of something? And I wanted to make a preface. This is a briefing in a convention, but if it's in a book, it's called a preface. I asked the librarian, can a preface be half of a book? And they're like, if it's up to the writer, and then the publisher has the last say, as if the oversight's a thing. When someone says, misery loves company, but then you ask the person, and I didn't, because I didn't want to assume anything. If you ask that person, when you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me. And so he was telling this to a different guy. So if I would have butted in and said that, it would have been, you can't have it two ways. You want your cake and eat it too. Side note, I stopped eating cake and all baked goods because, ask them, even in regular bread that you find in these niche places like stores or bakeries, they put eggs inside of it. And I'm a vegetarian, and came first, the chicken or the egg. If you're a vegetarian, you don't want either of them because one's a proponent of the other, and they're both the same. And if there's any semblance to this, is that you can't have it both ways in misery loves company, but then if you're the person gossiping and telling this to a company as a platform to stand on, to poke fun at someone, and then go on to say they shouldn't be here, who are you to, assuming that's someone not to be here? So when it's the collective and the populace is, they actually want a rebel instead of someone who is a norm, what do you call it? A simpleton. That's when the gloves are off, and you know that it doesn't matter either way if you're being smug and saying the same, because it needs the tides to change. Flip the tables, turn, tides change. You know what I'm saying? That's with if someone wants a rebel to like actually have a public square. At that point, it's definitely calling out a flag for an altered censor, despite the flag. How fitting is this? There's a patch of concrete out, and I had to like avoid it, and now that's the same thing, but with tape up and cones. Where we're going, we don't need cones. Where we're going, we don't need roads.